What's going on, everybody? Still chasing down that vacuum leak, so I'm going to be changing out the valley cover as well as the gasket. Alright, I'm still chasing down a vacuum leak on this motor. Can't find it. Long-term fuel trims are still at 25%. So I'm going to go ahead and change out the valley cover gasket. It's like the only gasket I haven't changed yet, as well as the valley cover itself. This is the cheap one from A Premium on Amazon. Couldn't find the stock GM one on sale anywhere. But yeah, this sits under the intake down in there. Right there, as you can see, I'm pointing at that. And it seems like it is kind of leaking. There's a lot of oil around those areas down in there. So we got to take off this intake. So just a little bit of info. The 2004 Corvette, the PCV was moved into the valley cover. It's not actually a PCV. It's kind of just the oil baffle that's in there. 03 down to 97, they have a regular valley pan like so. Except for the LS6 that's in the Z06, so 01 up, including the CTS V and the GTOs have this LS6 style valley cover. So the 04 Corvette, even though it's not a LS6, it has this valley cover. On a regular LS1 here, C5, this is where the PCV is. They don't have that little nipple coming out of the valley cover. You can modify it and use a LS6 valley cover if you want. You're gonna have to do some modifications inside the valley. You're gonna have to Dremel this little thing. You could do it on a truck. You could do it on all kind of other motors if you want to, just to remove those hoses from being all around your motor and make your motor look a little bit better. So this vacuum hose, you got to get that disconnected from the valve cover as well as the throttle position sensor, and then this coolant hose that goes to the throttle body as well as the injector plugs. Want to get those off, you just push that in and pull up. Next up, the vacuum hose going from the valley cover to the intake. Want to get that off. I'm using this little trim piece removal tool. I was kind of scared using it because I thought it would crack the manifold, but it worked. You got it off. Onto the driver's side, got to unplug the throttle body motor. You got to take off this vacuum hose from the fuel purge, the fill line, as well as the injector plugs, and don't forget the coolant hose going in right there. All right, moving on to the fuel lines. This comes from the rear to the front. You want to disconnect that, but before we do that, we have to remove the cap on the front of the fuel rail and relieve pressure. There is a Schrader valve inside this cap. Fuel is dangerous. You want to put some towels down, make sure that doesn't spray everywhere. You want to press in that valve and fuel is going to spray. It didn't for me because there's a whole nother issue, and I will get into that probably in the next video. That will be fun. It won't be, but you'll see. Now on to this fuel line. Just gonna move the paper towel over here or napkin, and then you want to remove this little safety retaining clip. Just comes right off like so. Make sure you put that somewhere safe. Then we're gonna get a fuel line removal clip, little thingy. This one is the one in my kit. I'm gonna get that, bring it over here, put that inside of this inlet like so, push down. Once you have depressed all the clips inside of that, pull on it and it will detach like so and leak out fuel. Next up, there are, I believe, 10 bolts. They're 8 millimeters. That rear one over there is really hard to get to, but just take your time, go get to it. Intake is off. So these are supposed to come up over the wire easily, like so, but as you can see, mines are stripping the wire. And then this one, the tabs broke off, so that's fun. I gotta fish those out before I loosen this up. Yep. Need a set of needle noses to get these out. So yep, all of them broken. Oh well. 22 to take that off. All right, the valley pin bolts were, I believe, a 13. Remove those after removing the knock sensors and the harness. The harness for the knock sensors can actually be replaced, so those broken tabs shouldn't be an issue. You can get that at your local AutoZone. Now it is time to take off the valley cover. You want to make sure there's nothing that can drop down into your motor, because your cam and crankcase will be exposed once this comes off. Here it is. I put some towels down in there. I'm gonna clean off the where the gasket mates to the surface. I do use a razor at times to get stuff that I can't get off with a paper towel. Slide like that, just right there. So I'm hoping that was it. This is an Amazon one. The only thing that looks different is the angle of that. So I'll probably switch that. But yeah, boom. That's the part number on this one. This one isn't. Let's see. This thing looks clogged, and this is really super loose. All right, so I got the valley surface as clean as I possibly could. I'm gonna go ahead and put in the gasket. There's only one way to put in the gasket. You can see when you do it wrong, it won't line up in the back, right? So went ahead, flip that over. When you put the valley cover in, you have to push it down to get it over the knock sensor holes. They snap on because of those little rubber O-rings. I'm using the bolts that came with the new valley pin from 8 Premium. Of course, you want to torque them down. You torque them down to 18 foot-pounds. Of course, you want to put the knock sensors back in. Those are tightened back up to 15 foot-pounds. The outlet from the PCV cover, or not the PC, it's not a PCV, it's pretty much a baffle, but this little arm coming out was kind of crooked, so I put something in there, bent it back straight. I'm not going to show how to put the intake back on. It's just the reverse of taking it off. And make sure you put everything in the back on. Make sure you get all your vacuum hoses put back on, and then tighten down the manifold to 18 foot-pounds, and you're set. That's it. So unfortunately, this was not my vacuum leak. This actually made my car throw the code for lean condition, which is why my long-term fuel trims are at 25%. I do figure it out in the next video. Next video is gonna be lit. It's gonna be fire. You'll see. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know. If you watch my story. But thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the next one.